So Prince Andrew has already lost his royal patronages, his honorary military titles and arguably his reputation after reaching an out-of-court agreement with Virginia Giuffre, who accused him of sexual abuse.
Well, he is expected to attend the memorial service for the Duke of Edinburgh next week. It will be his first public outing since the case.
He could also lose the freedom of the city of York when councillors vote on the issue next month. We're joined now by Ingrid Seward, who is the author and editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine, and Newsweek's royal correspondent Jack Royston. Good morning to both of you.
Morning.
Morning.
Things keep escalating for the Duke of York, and then suddenly he's facing a vote that's going to happen with York Council over whether he loses the freedom of the city. I wonder, Jack, whether he will care or whether this actually matters, whether they vote on this or is it just another sort of nail in his reputation with regards to what he's been through over the last few years?
I think he certainly has a lot of problems at the moment, so this is adding to a long list. But I think York will be doing this because it's important for the people of York, basically. I think this isn't just about Andrew, it's about the other people who have been given the freedom of the city of York, and it's about, you know, what the people of York feel about Andrew. I mean, then, you know, they will not have the respect for him that he had at the time he was given this. So that was shortly after his wedding to Fergie back in the 80s. I think basically what's really important here is that we've got to a point with Andrew where he's actually settled this case. He could have chosen to defend himself. He could have tried to prove he was innocent. And instead he's put the royal family in a very difficult position where he's settled out of court. There are questions flying around about whether he needed to borrow money, and also the way that he conducted the case in certain areas was appalling. There is an aspect of New York law called the Child Victims Act, which has been used by thousands of child abuse victims to seek justice from their abusers. And Andrew's lawyers actually tried to get that ruled unconstitutional. So the details of the case themselves were obviously so charged and the allegations against him so damning if proven true. But then there's also the way that he actually conducted the lawsuit. And when you take all of that into account, I think for the people of York, they're not going to want somebody like Andrew in his position to have an honour of this kind. OK,
well, Ingrid, let's pick up with your view on this. I mean, is it right that the people of York, that the council get to be able to vote to take this away from him, do you think? Is that the right course of action?
I don't think it is. I think that it was given to Andrew and Fergie, Andrew, as a wedding present. And I think that he's not been proven to be guilty. He's always said he was innocent of the charges against him. And I'm so interesting what Russell says about all the ins and outs of the case, but I'm certain that people of York don't know the details of that. And it seems to me very petty-minded and attention-grabbing to suddenly say, well, we're going to take it away from him, we're going to have a vote and take it away from him, because by attacking the son, you're attacking the mother. And it's the Queen's Platinum Jubilee year, as we all know. And why add insult to injury, really, on this one? Why didn't they wait? I mean...
Yeah. Do you not agree with him losing all his military titles?
Yes, I do, but that was within the Queen's gift to do that. That was her decision. And I think just to throw this on top of that, it's just unnecessary.
It's Jack, not Russell, just before you...
So Jack... I keep doing that. I keep doing that.
It's all right, don't worry. You're not the only one. We all will do that.
Jack, I don't know why.
But Jack, the interesting thing, you said that he made things difficult for the royal family because he settled. Or did he actually make things easier for the royal family because he removed that from the agenda, because it was dominating the headlines in a year, as Ingrid has said, that it should be all about celebrating the Queen's Jubilee?
I think the fact that the case is going to be going on while the Jubilee is happening is definitely a benefit for the royal family. What was really difficult for them was this issue of money and whether or not the Queen contributed, and there's also been suggestions that Charles might have had to loan him some money in order that he could actually pay that amount. And the royal family haven't commented publicly on that, and realistically they won't. So what we have now is a situation where the public, I think, have already basically decided that they believe that the royal family did contribute, whatever the reality may be. So certain ways that he's conducted this case, I think, have, in reality, made things much worse than they needed to be. I mean, we had him last year photographed going up to Balmoral, where the Queen was staying, at the exact time that he was trying to avoid being served papers, being served in the case. You know, he had that whole period where he appeared to be fleeing justice, basically. I mean, obviously, this is a civil case, and you know he is not a target of the FBI's criminal investigation. But the appearances were that he was kind of running off up to Balmoral to hide in a castle.
Ingrid, I mean, you know, obviously, what has happened has meant that it's averted this potentially damaging court case at an important time for the Queen, hasn't it? When we look at his future, his appearances, we know he's set to appear at the Duke of Edinburgh's memorial service on Tuesday. How tricky is that going to be? Because, of course, everyone's going to be watching it. It's such an event of huge significance, isn't it? Is this going to divert attention? Is it right that he's there? What should his appearances, what should they look like in the future?
Well, I think he's said that he's going to retire from public life. He has retired from public life, but of course he should be at his his father's memorial. Of course he should be there. I think it would be worse if he wasn't there. And I don't think it'll divert attention because, you know, hopefully all attention will be on the Queen and the other members of, you know, European royal families. And Andrew will just be sort of right at the back of his family. I mean, I totally agree with what you say, but I don't think that this court case and the details of it have any significance about whether he should or shouldn't, you know, be taken, his freedom of the City of York should be taken away.
It'll be interesting when that meeting eventually happens. I think it's been delayed, hasn't it, till the end of the month, or what happens from there. I'm afraid we're out of time, but thank you both very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Ingrid and Jack, thanks for having me.